Well, my wife and I saw it on television. She follows the stock market very closely, and she manages money. And she saw it, was watching CNBC, and saw the first picture and called me. I was getting ready to go to work, and then I decided to go to work, but I thought it was the shuttle, because I ride the shuttle a lot, and I thought there's one path that the shuttle takes from Washington to New York, where you go past the trade centers and then turn right over Central Park and then land at LaGuardia. And I thought, that somehow it's the shuttle. Well, while I was getting dressed, she called me and said, "This is not an accident," said they hit another building. This is some sort of terrorist act. Well, we were both shocked. I got dressed. I was heading up to Capitol Hill because I was covering the Congress in those days. And my bureau chief called me on my car phone and said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm trying to get through this traffic." And she said, "Well, get out of there." She said, "We think there's another plane coming this way, and we think it's headed for the Capitol." Well, that turned out to be the plane that the people in Pennsylvania forced down over Pennsylvania. Had they not done it, who knows if I'd be here today. But even more so, what I think about is that my brother had been in the Pentagon on the Friday before the attack, in the very room where that plane nosed in and hit the Pentagon. Had they decided to do it on Friday instead of Tuesday, he would be dead. And we all have these stories. I mean, I know 5 people who died that day or lost somebody that day. Every one of our reporters who went to Ground Zero had a near-death experience, without exception. Some still have lung problems who went down there. It was an extremely hard story to cover for us because we're so used to covering stories about other people. We're not used to covering stories about ourselves. Eric Shapiro, who was our director that day while we were on the air, directed the first hour of that coverage, believing his own daughter had been killed. And they found her. She was okay. Everything was fine. We couldn't get in touch with our daughter, who lived in New York in those days. We didn't know where she was. I really do think about it every day. I would also say that I never felt. There are only 2 stories where I had the same feeling. One was the assassination of John Kennedy, and that story, where I felt the same way. After the assassination of Kennedy, it was about a week later, and I was back on the police beat, and I remember we'd had this horrible car wreck, and you see a lot of death and destruction on the police beat, but I was looking at the casualties from this car wreck. This family had basically been cut in half. Their car had run under a truck loaded with pipe, just sawed the car off. And we were waiting for the coroner to get there, and I was just standing there looking at it, and I realized it had no impact on me whatsoever. I mean, it was like a dog watching television. I just saw something, but it didn't register on me what it was. And it took me a long time before I could feel anything or have a reaction to anything after that. And I realized that as a reporter, you sometimes are working on this adrenaline, and you lose your ability to react to things. There's just something in you that you use up, and it has to build back up before you're able to have any feeling about anything. And I felt that way after that, and I felt that way after 9/11. It took me a long time to kind of get over it. I mean, I didn't have any problem with it while it was going on, and that's what we do as reporters. We just put our emotions aside and concentrate on what's in front of us. But then after it's over, you realize it's taken a toll. David Martin, our Pentagon correspondent, he was driving to the Pentagon the day that the plane hit. He saw a big cloud of smoke, and he thought it was a tanker truck that had overturned near the Pentagon. He got there, parked his car, and realized something was going on the other side of the Pentagon. There was all this smoke, and then he began to see bodies all strewn out. And David said, my reporter instincts kicked in, and I just basically started counting. Well, that's what reporters do, and it comes from our training. And it happened to David that day. It happened to me. It took me a long, long time to get past it. I still think about it every day.